All right. Hey guys, welcome back to another one. So, in this one, I will be covering the ninth race of this season of Formula One, which is like the English GP at Silverstone circuit. And it was, a great race till like 90%, and then it all went to shit. But depends who you were supporting. So, all right, let's start from the beginning. It was a sprint race, and they only got one practice session, which was kind of all right. Uh, the Ferraris were quite, quick in the practice sessions as well, and so were the Mercedes. Obviously, Red Bull didn't really, seem to be doing that great. I mean, they were just there. McLaren had some pace, but not enough to challenge the like front runners. So these were like the top four teams. Basically, it was between Mercedes and Ferrari at that point, and I mean, obviously, it was a practice session, so teams are sandbagging and whatnot. But still, it was like quite clear that the rest of the pack were quite behind the first two, teams. So nothing much really happened in the practice session. I mean, if there were some minor incidents, I will just attach the images. But I mean, I don't remember anything crazy happening. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Stroll was, I think, a bit faster than Alonso, either in that or was it in a qualifying session? I'm not sure. But yeah, Stroll did well. I mean, he was like still in the second last place, but still that's pretty good. And we had like two new liveries, which were like Cadillac and McLaren. I kind of liked McLaren's livery. It was decent. I mean, I didn't hate it. It was good, I would say. Yeah, sure, why not? And Cadillac for the like 4th of July, which was basically like they painted red, blue, and white on their like front wing and the top half of the car. I mean, it was not much of a change. It's still majorly white, but yeah, they changed their liveries, and this was also one of those Lego drivers parade one, which happened like last year as well. It was kind of fun. We'll get to that, but yeah. Well, moving on to sprint qualifying. So, as it was the British GP, there were like I don't know, 5 6 drivers who it was like their home race. There was Lando, there was George Hamilton, then there was Behrman, Lindblad, and I'm not sure if I'm missing anyone, but yeah, it was basically like their home race. So yeah, that happened, and. Well, like I said, Ferraris were quite quick, and so were the Mercedes. Antonelli led the way. I mean, like even in the qualifying sessions and the sprint as well. But yeah, Lando. I mean, Antonelli was quicker than George. McLaren were there, but it was, I would say, kind of more based on the luck. Like they just had better luck than the rest of the pack. But I mean, still, it was a good effort for from Lando. And as I even said in the previous one, like Lando has gotten more relaxed, and now that he's not fighting for a championship, he feels a lot more in control, I guess. He had like a lot of issues with his car, but still he did well. So yeah, moving on to the sprint race, which was on Saturday. So Saturday we had like the sprint race and the qualifying session. So the sprint race was all right. Max was at like P6 or P7, I guess, and he climbed a few places, but then again, he just didn't have the pace. And like even I feel like I'm just raw dogging it right now. I don't have my notes or anything, and I mean, I kind of am between exams, and I didn't really get to prepare that much. But yeah, the race itself was kind of interesting, so I just had to cover it. So yeah, the sprint race was like Kimi was P1, and he was quite happy as well. We heard on the radio, and the way Toto celebrates Kimi's wins, that's just if you compare them to George's ones, you can kind of see the difference. But yeah, he was quite happy, and Norris was on the podium as well. And in the post-race interview, he did say that he does not, see himself on the podium for the like actual race, but it was good. He had like the whole Lando stand as well, which was, filled up. And I mean, he is the defending world champion, so there were a lot of fans there. And I also want to say, like, those names were quite weird, like maggots and buckets, and there were like Lewis Hamilton Straight, and I mean, kind of weird names, but yeah, sure. Just, I mean, I found it quite, I mean, different. Yeah. So that's the like sprint race done. Then we had like qualifying later on, in which like P1 was Kimi, and he had like a flying lap. Obviously, he is great, at qualifying. So I think he has been P1 for like 4 or 5 races out of 9, and like yeah, he has bad starts, but he always manages to cover up. But yeah, he was P1, and then there was Charles at P2 and Lewis at P3. So Ferrari were like 2-3. They were looking quite good, and even in the like post quali, they said that Mercedes are just quicker than the Ferraris, but they would still try to use that to their advantage. P2 and P3. Max was I guess P7 behind Lando and just ahead of Oscar. Hajar out qualified Max, and the Racing Bulls were there. Like, you don't really notice them, but they are just there. They are always there. There are like the top 4 teams, and then there is that Racing Bulls at 9 and 10. So they are managing themselves quite well, and there were rumors that Liam Lawson might be getting changed with someone else next season, and this season he has been performing really well. I think he's at 9th position in WDC currently, behind Hajar, I guess. But yeah, he's doing well, and yeah, it was Arvid's first home race as well, so he did quite well. He was in the points, so yeah. And that's that for qualifying. Again, this circuit didn't really had that much power, I guess. The Red Bulls at least were not excited for it. Max said in the previous race as well that he does not see this race going his way, but he was still P6. Things were looking good, but he said that he might even start from the pit lane because the car just doesn't feel right. But he didn't. He chose to stick with P6, and yeah, Oscar was P8, I guess, and yeah, George was at P4. Yeah. So George was P4. Then there was Hajar and Norris, Max, Oscar. I will just attach the image of the qualifyings as well. And moving on to the drivers parade. So like the Legos cars were out, and all that great stuff. And why was MBS there? Like, he's not a driver. Why is he there? And I mean, he feels like one of those weird kids that no one really wants to interact with, but they do because they feel bad for him. I kind of feel that way for MBS, but yeah, he's a weird guy. He was there, and there was this incident where they all went off on gravel as well. So yeah, that was kind of fun watching that. I mean, some drivers were just not really interested in it. Like Lewis didn't really care about it, or a lot of drivers. But yeah, it was still kind of fun. Alonso won that one, by the way. First one for Aston Martin this season, and probably the only one. But yeah, that was nice. Now moving on to the race. So this is where things got interesting. So the race start, Lewis kind of had a jump start, but not really. It was like he moved, and then he realized that it's still not lights out, so he stopped, and then he moved on. But it still qualified for a penalty. So yeah, that happened. But both the Ferraris overtook Kimi Max overtook Lando, and Hajar just kind of fell off really. But yeah, again with Red Bulls, the start is always a gamble. It might work in their favor. Most of the time it doesn't, but yeah. So they managed to climb a few positions. Charles was like clear. He just went straight ahead. There were like fight between Kimi and Hamilton for a while, and Max was looking quite good. I was so happy. Like for the first 40 laps, I was like the happiest guy. I could see my favorite top three drivers on the podium. There was chance for like during the end as well, chance for a P2 of Max, but yeah, it was looking all so well. The Red Bulls were like on a two-stop strategy, because Max had like one extra set of tires as well. So he would, start on mediums, then hard, then again mediums, or if there is a safety car, soft as well. But whatever. So they had a great start. We saw Hamilton and Verstappen fighting out as well, which Verstappen, was mostly defending. He didn't had that much of a pace because maybe his tires were older. He had like understeer and whatnot. The car was completely like fucked. I mean, he was still at P4, P3, but the car just didn't really support him. Even Charles said after the sprint race that I was just slow, but Max was slower. So I mean, yeah, he's just catching strays at this point. So yeah, he also fought Russell, which was quite fun. Like he overtook him and just then went into pits, like just to fuck up his race. He did that, and I mean, not even fuck up, I would say. I mean, he just like, yeah, I mean, I can overtake you and all that, and then he's like, all right, now that I have overtaken you, now I'll pit. So yeah, that happened, which was kind of fun. And then Russell kind of did the same with Max as well, overtook him and then went into the pits. But yeah, it was great when Russell and Hamilton were fighting. It gave Verstappen kind of buffer, but yeah, he didn't really had that much pace. Racing Bulls were hanging in there. Hulkenberg had like the crash, and then came out the yellow flag. So Verstappen got a cheap pit stop, and at that point, everything was perfect. Kimi was like chasing Leclerc for P1, but he would still be on the podium, and Kimi was going to like increase his leadership gap. Max could have been there, you know. Hamilton was like 7 seconds ahead, but Max had like new mediums on, and things were looking so good. Russell was at P5 or something. Norris was also there. Hadjar was like just behind Norris, I guess. And I was so happy then. I wish the race would have ended right then, but I didn't. It didn't. It went on. And then we saw that Kimi had some issues with his car, and he like slowed down a lot. He had to like pit twice, and still they were like, it might be the tire protector or whatever, but he didn't really have that much pace, and he went off track a few times. He had like 5 second penalty, which, and by the way, I have to like give this to Kimi that he was really fighting for it till the last moment. He was like, even for like 10th place, I'll try for that. I'm not retiring the car. I'll go as far as I can. And he sounded quite sad, like heartbreaking stuff there. But great race by him, and just really unlucky. I think George had those car issues 2 or 3 times. Now Kimi had them as well. So kind of on equal footing, I would say. And yeah, he fell down to like P9. He was still, inching ahead, but he was like 3 or 4 seconds ahead of the Alpine. He could have scored those points, but then came the final nail in the coffin. Verstappen crashed like 6 laps or something left. Man, you could have gotten like P2 like twice in a row. It would have been like last year, like, is he back? The 100 point gap, is he chasing? And yeah, that just didn't happen. I guess the rear wing didn't close or something, but yeah, he spun out. And I feel like I have seen this exact same moment a few races ago as well. So Yeah, just unlucky there. And he even said, "Man, fuck this car. This is just completely fucked." And yeah, it kind of feels like that, just not his year. And maybe, maybe this is pushing him over the edge. Like with Red Bull, those rumors him joining McLaren and Mercedes and whatnot. But if every second race you're having these issues, it kind of does kind of, I mean, messes with your head. But yeah, he's still Verstappen. He's still one of the greats. So yeah, this race was unlucky. Then came out the yellow flag, and Charles pitted, Lewis pitted, Mercedes kept on, and George went to P2 while Hamilton was in pits, and the race just went on with under the safety car. So it was like the safety car ended, but then it came back again. So like they didn't really get any laps. And I like just saw it few moments ago. They were not supposed to end that safety car. It was a technical mistake, and yeah, it was never supposed to go in. So yeah, that was that. And there were Hamilton was under investigation for the safety car infringement. I think he overtook or something like that. But yeah, that's also under investigation. And all the lapped cars, got to unlap themselves. So the gap was like really, really close. So even though Kimi finished P9, the 5 second penalty pushed him over to like P15 or 16, something like that. And same thing with Hamilton as well. Although it was Charles, Russell, and Hamilton, but if he gets a penalty, it would be Norris on the podium. And if Hamilton is unlucky, he might be out of points as well. But yeah, the decision wasn't out yet, and we could again see like the Monaco replay where Hajar had to give the trophy back to Gasly. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. And well, like for me, the only thing that that was good that came out of it was like Charles P1. Like it has been so long, and this guy has been through some stuff. He's like stuck with Ferrari, and this is the we are so back phase of Ferrari going on. They had like Lewis P1 2 races ago, and then this time it's Charles, and this was like their 250th win for Ferrari. And I mean, he won like after 2 years. Like last year their car was so dog shit, but they came back with this one, and they are like competing with Mercedes now. They might even be in contention for the world championship. We'll see that. But yeah, it felt good. It was like this year's Nico Hulkenberg type of moment. Last year it was with him. He got his podium finish after like 200 or something races, and this time it's Charles getting it after 2 years, which was quite great. Russell was like really lucky in this one as well. He just stayed there, dent pit, and got his P2, does nothing P2 type of stuff. Max, who was ahead of him, he just spun out. Antonelli, his championship rival, he had some issues with his car. Hamilton, who's ahead of him, Ferrari messed up his strategy. So yeah, lucky stuff for him. I mean, yeah, it kind of compensates for his previous bad luck. But yeah, that's what happened. And I guess that's it for this Silverstone GP. I guess we have a week's break in between. And yeah, kind of disappointed, but still a fun race. I would really recommend those who have missed it. Like definitely this race had like a lot of stuff going. There were like great yo-yoing battles there. Then were strategy thing with Red Bull and Charles and Mercedes battle. It was just really great fun. The overall decision didn't really turn out in our favor, but still a great race. And yeah, uh, thanks for watching, and let me know if I missed anything. And bye bye. See you in the next one.